Blog Talk Radio. Blog Talk Radio.
Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 5 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews, and we have a great show today. We're meeting with Ed Dickison, the president of Home Helpers. And for over a decade, Home Helpers Compassionate Caregivers have been providing one-on-one companion care and in-home care services to seniors, new and expectant mothers, working parents, and individuals. And that's coming right up on Franchise Interviews. So stick around because we got a great show.
Are you one of those special people who are willing to go after your dreams and goals? Are you ready to fulfill that dream of owning your own business with the security of a proven brand? The opportunity to take control of your future and own a Rita's Italian Ice franchise is within your reach.
Rita's is seeking success-oriented individuals who are ready to make a change in their life, and Rita's offers unparalleled training and support to assure your success. And did you know the frozen treat industry is a recession-proof industry, and there are Rita's in 23 states currently with 540 stores open. Rita's Italian Ice has been around for 25 years and is listed as a top-performing franchise by the Wall Street Journal.
Now here's the really good part. Rita's Italian Ice is a unique and amazing taste treat. It's smoother than a snow cone, and it combines ice with real fresh fruit. The real fruit adds dramatically to the taste, and it comes in over 40 flavors. The ice and fruit are mixed on site and made fresh daily, and it is delicious.
You'll want to know more about this exciting and successful franchise opportunity. Go to www.ownaritas.com and get all your questions answered. That's www.ownaritas.com to take control of your dreams and future today. You don't want to wait any longer to be a part of this adventure. www.ownaritas.com.
Franchisers, are you looking to reach aspiring entrepreneurs looking to buy a franchise? Are you looking to reach a highly educated audience on franchising? For over 4 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get inside tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Check out our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys, and our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. Get 3 months of free advertising when you sign up for our 1-year package. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to a very special edition of Franchise Interviews, where for over 5 years we've been asking the entrepreneurs one-on-one. I'm your host, Marty McDermott, and I'm the president of Franchise Interviews. And as we were saying earlier, we have a great show today. We're meeting with Ed Dickison, who is the president of Home Helpers. And for over a decade, Home Helpers Compassionate Caregivers have been providing one-on-one companion care and in-home care services to seniors, new and expectant mothers, working parents, and individuals in need of continuing and recuperative home care. Hey, Emma, how you doing today? Welcome to the show.
Hi, Marty. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Emma. I've been following you guys for a long time, and I was saying to Don earlier, I was surprised we haven't had you on the show up to this point, because you guys, you're really doing very well. Congratulations on all your success. I think in this particular industry, I think you're ranked number 2, aren't you?
Yeah, we celebrate 15 years this year. We're really excited.
That's fantastic. We would like to ask our guests, where are you calling from this morning, Emma?
Actually, I'm in Cincinnati, Ohio, which is where our corporate office is.
Oh, good. Okay, fantastic. And a little bit about your background, maybe. I know you have an interesting background, like maybe what you were doing before joining and getting involved in Home Helpers.
Yeah, I actually started in franchising a little over 20 years ago. I started with, at the time, a little-known company called Blockbuster. And I started with them when they had about 150 storefronts, and stayed with them for about 14 years. When I left, we were 8,800 worldwide.
Wow. And
had the opportunity about the last 6 years to run the domestic franchise sector. And from there, I left. I had a great opportunity to join Sylvan Learning Centers. Sylvan Learning provides supplemental education to children to help them keep up, catch up, or get ahead. And was with them for about 3.5 years and had both domestic and international franchising. So great companies, wonderful missions, and then just had a great opportunity to join Home Helpers about 5 years ago.
That's fantastic. And I'm glad you mentioned all that because, a lot of times, we mentioned to our listeners on the show that, one of the themes over the last 6 years is to, look towards the leadership's experience, and that was one of the things that, also impressed me most about Home Helpers was when I was looking at your biography, all the different things that you've done. I think you're a great person to lead this organization. This is definitely, I guess, a different industry for you, isn't it? I mean, it's an exciting industry. I hate to say this, but this out of all the industries in franchising, I think this is certainly my favorite. In 1999, I was interviewed by the LA Times, and they said, what industry should, I guess, aspiring entrepreneurs look towards? And I said, look towards the senior care, in this type of industry. And it's just amazing how it's grown, over the last, 10, 15 years. What do you guys attribute your success to? I mean, how do you guys stay ahead of everyone else?
I think that great question. First of all, I think our experience lends us to position us to do that. We've had more experience than most anyone in the sector. Yeah. And in doing that, our core mission we've stayed true to, which is to be the most comprehensive home care company. And our goal and mission is to keep folks at home. There are some in the sector that they do that to a point, and then they have agreements and programs to put somebody in facilities. We've expanded our model so that we are doing all the things to keep someone at home. We started with just companion care 15 years ago. We moved into personal care, and then about a year ago, we moved into skilled medical services as well. And then we layered into that, through our Direct Link program, some products and services that, again, enable someone to stay at home. We originally started with the personal emergency response system. We then layered in medication management units, which is oftentimes the difference between someone being able to stay at home or they move into an assisted living. Now we have a means to be able to help families manage that at home. We also implemented vital sign monitoring. We now have a fall sensor to help those that are fall prone, that the technology works on impact. We have a unit that has some GPS technology to help those that, may roam a little bit, so you can put parameters up and keep them at home a little longer. So everything that we've done has been to stay true to our core mission, which is to enable families to help keep loved ones at home. And we've stayed ahead of the curve on all of that.
Is that what you like most about the industry? Because, again, you've worked in several different industries. What do you like most about this industry, Emma?
Well, I think you have to understand a little bit more of my history, Marty. I started with family caregiving coming out of high school as a teenager. My grandmother had her 5th stroke. We kept her at home through family care and assisted care, paid care, for 18 and a half years. During that time, my mother had her 3rd stroke. During that 18 years, 5 years of it, we cared for my mother at the same time. My dad, in that time, was diagnosed with terminal cancer. So a lot of family caregiving, which is one of the reasons that I am so incredibly passionate about Home Helpers as an organization, our mission, and all of the families that we serve. So to me, that is part of the real excitement, is to be able to help those families have greater time and greater quality of time with their loved ones as they age. Then given the fact that, the 76 million baby boomers are all aging, and I'm in that sector, it really lends you to have a great passion and mission.
Yeah, it's one of these, we've been calling it for a long time now on the show, a feel-good industry, in the sense where, you have the opportunity to, I think, make tremendous money, but at the same time, at the end of the day, really feel good about, what you're doing and the mission you're providing. I'm also, like yourself, my father has had Parkinson's disease now for 10 years, and now we're at the point where we just can't leave him alone anymore, and it's very emotional, isn't it? Like when you're going through the whole process, now that we're there, like, oh my God, who do we leave him with if, we're ever to leave the house, so it's very emotional for the families, isn't it? So yeah, absolutely. What about the technology? You guys have some interesting technology that you've been utilizing. You mentioned some of them.
Yes. We have, obviously, with the technological advances available, one of the areas with all of the baby boomers out there is they want to age in place. They want to stay as independent as long as possible. So our goal in tracking technology is to be able to make those as appropriate available to families. As I said, we started on the home care side with a program called telephony, which enables us to accurately and better track the caregivers as they're in and out of the homes, so that there's no disruption of service to the client or their families. And we find those things out early and quickly if there's going to be a problem. So we started with that program years ago. And then when Direct Link was brought into our portfolio, the personal emergency response systems are obviously a unit that the client has. We offer a premium package where they have a couple of different options to activate the system should they need assistance. And in an emergency situation, our monitoring system, which is the best out there, quite frankly. They only work with medical situations. They don't do alarm and burglary and fire, those kind of situations. So they're specifically trained to work with seniors. And in emergency situations, help is dispatched very quickly to get that client help. So we've got a great program there with the technology. It can work with cell phones or landlines or VoIP, because that's so popular. And then from there, as I said, we started with a medication management unit. This system helps remind clients, loved ones, to take their medications. So once the unit is loaded with the appropriate dosages and times for dispensing, it will alert the client that it's time to take their next dosage. If they don't actually open the unit and take the medication, it will send an alarm to our monitoring station, and the monitoring station will then call the client and remind them. If they still don't take it after a short period of time, then it goes to another activity on the list where maybe they call the daughter, whatever the client's family has set up, so that we can make sure that client gets their medication on time or as prescribed. There's been so many studies done with management in this area to say that, by making sure that folks have these types of products, it lowers the admission rates in hospitals, because the two biggest reasons that seniors over 65 end up in emergency rooms are falls and medication mismanagement.
Wow, I didn't know that.
So we've got something to help with both of them that enables those clients and their families to get help and have peace of mind when no one's with them. So the medication management helps families. When my mom had her third stroke, The biggest problem we had with her was she decided, she was cognitively never the same. She decided that she knew how to self-medicate better than her doctors did. And if we had had something like this back in, 1987,
right,
what a gift it would have been for us. So obviously we've added that product. Then we added vital sign monitoring. And certainly this was to help folks who they need to have their blood pressure, blood sugars, oxygenation, and weight monitored regularly. And we know that through a lot of studies, there's been some claims and data that have been compared that indicated that there was a 58% reduction in all-cause readmissions for those clients or patients that utilize the technology. So again, helping us keep families together and loved ones home longer has been the goal. So we added vital sign monitoring, and then we added some GPS technology to help with Alzheimer's and dementia patients. So we have, in the last 5 years, we have greatly expanded our portfolio of services with the sole goal of providing a broader continuum of care to clients and their families, and to be able to help keep them home longer.
That's so important. I mean, the technology is really fascinating. I mean, I always wonder, when I hear about things like this, how they did it, 30 years ago or 40 years ago, like you said. I can't even imagine, because the technology is truly fascinating. So getting to, like, the franchisees, I mean, when someone says, this sounds like a type of franchise I'd like to go into, what does Home Helpers look for, I mean, as far as, like, the characteristics of your franchisees or prospective franchisees?
Well, certainly we're looking for partners who are going to represent the brand well, who are going to be able to implement the operating system. I mean, we're 15 years into this. We're not new, and we do a lot of research, and we stay ahead of the curve with what we bring to the market. So we're looking for someone who is willing to be in business for themselves but not by themselves, meaning that we're there to support them with a great operating system and a great support network of staff and other franchise owners to be able to come into our system, take what we know, and then implement it in their local markets. So they have to have a willingness to be able to, take that risk, have the courage to step off the curb to take that risk to go into business for themselves, but yet be backed by a national network of hundreds and hundreds of offices with 15 years of brand equity and 15 years of intellectual property and operating system, and not try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, absolutely, especially after 15 years of doing it. I'm sure the system is so much stronger now, than in the first year. So absolutely. So once someone decides you like them and that, they like you, and they say, okay, we want to be part of this whole thing, what's the training like from there? Do they fly out to, like, your corporate headquarters, or how does that work?
They do. We, first of all, our professional development for our offices, owners, and staff is ongoing. But initially, a new owner, once we've decided that this is a good match and we want to move forward together, they would come into Cincinnati for a full week of training. That week of training would include everything from human resources to social media to financial management and financial reporting, risk management, a host of marketing. It is just a computer lab, how to implement and utilize software to help run the office. So it is a very deep dive that first week. There's also pre-work that they do before they come to training, and post-work after they leave training before they're actually certified. Once that takes place, then there is ongoing professional development available through our Home Helpers University. We have 2 tracks there, one for our owners and their office staff, and another for their caregivers. And our goal there is to continue to provide professional development in everything from marketing to human resource management to public relations and financial pieces, so that they continue to learn and grow as they move forward in the industry and in the business. We provide a complete caregiver training curriculum, and so their caregivers have the ability to be trained through online modules in the classroom, on the job. We have a mentoring program for them, and they can earn some different levels of credentialing through Home Helpers University as well.
Oh, interesting.
So
lots of training.
It is. We really place a lot of emphasis in training because at the end of the day, that's kind of really where the rubber meets the road. The caregivers out in the field providing exceptional care to the families that they support, and then us providing care and training to the offices that support them.
Oh, that's great. If you could paint a picture maybe of what maybe a typical day is like for a Home Helpers franchisee, that would be great for our listeners too.
Well, I don't know that there's a typical day in any place
true.
I've ever been in franchising. I'm not sure there's a typical day.
That's
but
true.
Our owners typically spend a great deal of their time in marketing the business, making and nourishing those relationships and positioning within the community for client referrals, whether that's directly to the consumer. It's working with hospitals and discharge planners and doctors as they have clients who will be needing care, as well as some trusted professionals like trust attorneys and CPAs that are working with the elderly as they are planning other stages of their life. So a good deal of their time is spent in marketing the business. But then there's also time spent recruiting. There's time spent in in-home consultations, maybe with or instead of their marketing. They may have a marketing person on staff. And then obviously there has to be some time spent on watching the books, managing the money, the billing, and the obvious ongoing financial concerns that any business owner would have. So it's really every day is a little different. One day they may spend an entire day on marketing, and another day they may spend a little bit of time in marketing and a whole lot of time in recruiting great caregivers, as an example.
Oh, that's great. You've been doing this such a long time now, and you've been involved in many different types of franchise opportunities and industries. What advice would you give to our listeners in their quest to buy a franchise, Emma?
I really think it boils down to a couple of things. First, if you're going to go into a franchise, understand that you're going into a system that has some level of proven success out there. Just do your homework. But if you're going to go into business for yourself, make sure that you're willing to follow a system and help redefine it at times, because we are not the same company we were 15 years ago, and our owners have helped us bring our system forward. So we're very involved, and they're very involved with us as we shape strategy for the future. But be able to come in and follow a system. Surround yourself with great support network, not just within the franchise system, but at home as well, in your community, your friends and your family. When you're doing your research on a franchise system, as you mentioned earlier, look at the management team. What level of success have they had in the past? Have they been around a while so you know they're going to be there in 5 years or 10 years? Because everyone who starts a business should always start it with an exit strategy in mind. But until you're ready for that exit strategy, you want to make sure that the team you're on is going to support you and help you and has some proven track record of success.
Oh, this is great advice. Being you're the president of the company, I have the opportunity of asking you, so what are the plans for the future for Home Helpers, Emma?
We are going to continue to stay true to our mission, which is to help folks stay at home. But the way we intend to do that, we are actually in a second test right now with our franchise offices, and unfortunately I'm not at liberty to go into too great a detail as to what that is, but I will tell you it will expand our portfolio of services for families even farther. And again, our goal to keep families together as long as possible. We will do it through the home care, the Home Helpers franchise in providing additional care services for the home, and on the direct link side, additional products to keep families together longer. So our goal over the next 3 to 5 years is we're actually in test on one right now, and we're in planning for a next test once this is complete. So we're always going to we're listening to our referral sources, our clients and families, and we're always going to be planning for that next improvement so that we can help families stay home.
Wow, that's fantastic. Sounds like there's a lot going on in the future for home helpers, so that's fantastic. What's the best way for our listeners, Emma, to get more information on becoming a franchisee and all the different services that Home Helpers provides? Are there any websites they should go to?
Absolutely. Our website is www.homehelpers.cc, and there is a lot of information there.
That's fantastic, and I'm glad I finally had the opportunity to interview you. I've been following you for a long time now, so it was great to finally get the chance to speak to you, and I'd already like to invite you back next year, Emma, as you guys continue to grow, and it sounds like you have some exciting things going on as well.
I would be happy to, Marty. I really appreciate your time today.
Oh, it's our pleasure, Emma. Thanks so much for coming on the show, and we'll be right back with more franchise interviews.
Franchise Interviews. For over 4 years, Franchise Interviews has been giving an up-close, behind-the-scenes look at franchising and entrepreneurship through our website, franchiseinterviews.com, where you can hear and read interviews as well as get inside tips from some of the most successful sources in franchising. Check out our weekly franchise radio show, where each week you get to hear a new interview with franchisers, franchisees, franchise authors, franchise experts, and attorneys. And don't forget to listen to our podcast, Great Quotes in Franchising. For more information, go to franchiseinterviews.com or call us at 610-905-2919. That's 610-905-2919.
Need a business loan? Talk to Diamond Financial Services, the experts in franchise financing nationwide. Whether you're looking to start a franchise, acquire an existing franchise, or expand your territory through opening new locations, Diamond Financial stands by your side start to finish. From pre-qualification to packaging and presenting your application to securing a financial commitment and through the loan closing process, Diamond Financial is there. While you're waiting, thousands of others are making their financial dreams come true. Don't wait any longer. Pre-qualify now by completing a confidential, no-obligation financial analysis. Let's face it, traditional banks just aren't in the business of financing small business. At Diamond Financial, we specialize in securing franchise loans from $100,000 to $3 million and equipment leasing up to $150,000. Let us help you get started. Go to www.franchisefunding.net or call 877-508-2274. That's franchisefunding.net, 877-508-2274.
Hi everyone, this is Marty McDermott from Franchise Interviews, and welcome to another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising, where each podcast you get to hear a great quote in franchising. You know, we've been hosting Franchise Interviews now almost 6 years and 300 shows under our belt, and during that time we've had some incredible quotes on the show. Today you're going to get to hear from franchise expert Joel Labava, and Joel has the distinction of being one of 2 guests in the 6 years we've been hosting the show, of appearing on the show 3 times, so you know how fans we are of Joel. He recently wrote a book called Become a Franchise Owner, which is a must-read in franchising. And today Joel's going to talk about unpeeling the onion and getting to the core, and the importance of franchisees being able to do it their way. So listen to what Joel said. I thought it was quite fascinating.
Franchise pro like yourself on. It's only going to help people who are listening. The more information, the better.
Boy, that's true.
Let me ask you this, Joel. This question we like to ask our guests on the show. What types of characteristics do you think make a successful franchisee?
Well, the obvious one is, and that's why I don't meet everybody that is referred to me or that finds me,
right.
Because I try to find out if they are maybe a little too entrepreneurial.
Right.
Purchase a franchise. For instance, I've had people that have owned previous businesses that have closed them or have sold them and then want to do something else, and they start looking at a franchise.
Right.
And I'm very cautious, and I tell them up front, you've been doing your own thing for 10 years here. Do you really want to work with a 300-page operations manual and sign a franchise agreement and do it their way after you've been doing it your way for so long? So one of the characteristics is someone that is willing to and has followed a system of some type.
Right.
That not someone who's always fought the system, who always has a different, better idea. That is not a good franchisee candidate.
Absolutely.
One does not have to be a robot, but one has to say, look, I have to put my ego aside. This is their idea. The cost of entry is the franchise fee up front, and the continuing cost is royalty income.
Right.
And you know what? And I'm pretty blunt when I do my seminars. Guess what, guys and gals? It wasn't your idea.
Right.
So you get to pay the folks that it's their idea, but maybe they can help you get where you want to go. So I look for people that get it and that I feel are going to follow a system.
That's interesting. And I guess you can tell pretty quickly who has that right attitude and passion.
Within a couple minutes.
Right.
Just on the phone, I can tell.
Right.
So I'm careful who I meet with, because I don't want to meet with people just because they have a nice net worth, just because they say they want to get into business. I like to go deeper than that. I really want to unpeel that onion and let's find out if this is the right fit. Some folks will meet anyone. I'm not like that.
Right.
Especially since most of the folks I help are around here. I really have skin in the game. I'm very well known in the Cleveland area. I don't want to try to help people get into business that are going to set themselves up for failure.
Right. Interesting.
It's wrong.
Right.
So I'd rather meet less people that really understand what they're getting into, rather than a volume of people that may get lucky and be successful. That's not how I do business.
Thanks, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you again soon with another edition of Great Quotes in Franchising by Franchise Interviews. Take care, everyone.